Hey everyone, Coach Ben here with Jim from Jiu-Jitsu Mag. Coach Ben podcast. This is, we're a couple weeks into the quarantine or the stay-at-home order here in California. So, Jim, how's it going?
It's going well, hanging in there. We're a good solid month and a half. Well, let's just say solid month, 6 weeks.
It's at least a month.
At least a month, right?
Because I shut down my academy, I believe before March 10th. So I think it was like the first Saturday of March. So March, pretty much. I think March 9th was like my last class.
Okay, and we're late April right now, which brings us to
Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. So which brings us to your academy. You're a business owner.
Yes, sir.
We are involved in not maybe the most optimal career choice with this quarantine and separation and the new landscape of the world. But that being said, this thing will end one day. So as a business owner, academy owner, how do you think the other side of this looks for folks who own academies and participate in our culture?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's address the outlook, the future outlook of jiu-jitsu as a whole, right? Because most people that probably listen to this and that do jiu-jitsu aren't academy owners. They're people that just train. They're looking forward to training, or the other side of that coin is there may be people who never train again after this. So I don't have any well, actually I do. Let's get my biases out there before we talk about this, because it's important to understand the how the biases work, because it's gonna direct what I say. It's gonna direct what I say. So you already mentioned I'm an academy owner, right? So do I want things to return back to normal so I can continue on running my business and everybody can train and we can be happy? Sure, yes. So my bias is that I would like for this to have never happened, but that's not realistic, right? But just putting that out there, because I am an academy owner, I'm going to have my views different than somebody who, doesn't own an academy, or maybe, isn't a black belt, just started training jiu-jitsu like a couple weeks before this thing. It depends on who you are, right? So I have many things to say about this, but the outlook of Brazilian jiu-jitsu or jiu-jitsu as a whole, I'm a little bit worried. And, again, this is coming from somebody who would like nothing more than this to have never happened, And the reason I'm a little worried is because I kind of think about the long-lasting effects that this is going to have on society, right? I mean, we're talking about, people talking about like, Las Vegas, right? We're not far from Vegas. We're like 300 miles. They're talking about, Vegas not even opening because of people being in an elevator together. That's being in an elevator together is considered now like, a problem. What's going to happen to martial arts academies that have grappling? This is very scary to me. Obviously, everything is fixed with a vaccine, right? You have a vaccine. I think a lot of people will still have, fears, but at least all of my old students probably will have no problems. People that have done jiu-jitsu, shouldn't have any. Who knows, right? I'm just talking out loud here. Or thinking out loud here. So, what do you think, Jim? What do you think about post-COVID-19?
Yeah. I will also go on to say that no one really knows, right? All we can do is speculate. And I think you have a very solid point. This is for people in the jiu-jitsu community, no matter what angle you're looking at it, it's a very scary thing to ponder. Yeah. Because and this is something I've been saying to, some of my friends, is that when you endure an injury, a regular physical injury, you break an arm or you break a leg, whatever the case, you have physical rehab, you have physical therapy on that. But a little less known thing is the emotional and mental rehabilitation that follows, a common injury. the idea that you have to rehabilitate that athlete's mental and emotional state to let them believe that their joint or their injury is healed. You are 100%. There's no need to limp on that joint. It's healed. And that is part of the rehabilitation process on an injury. But now we're talking about a global pandemic. Well, to me, in my shade tree psychology outlook, is that there is going to be a period of time where an emotional rehabilitation needs to be done.
Yeah, fear.
And, yeah, you have to address the fear, and part of that addressing the fear is facing it with whatever treatments, fix that the professionals who are tasked to treat this, whatever they come out with, and really doing as much education and as much precaution as us as practitioners. Like, take your showers before, after. Academy owners, make sure those mats get clean, like really clean. So us in the jiu-jitsu community, I'm very proud of some of the ideals and the standards that we already have in place. The problem, the failure tends to be the people who actually execute or don't execute those hygiene habits. Yeah. So us as a community, we have the things in place.
Yeah.
We just have to follow them.
Yeah, I'm slightly less worried about people who already train and know about jiu-jitsu. I'm more worried about the growth of the sport.
Right.
That's a problem where, you already have stigmas attached to jiu-jitsu, right? Sweating on people, touching, dirty, viruses, bacteria. Now you have something that is even worse because this thing is not just a virus, right? It's a life-threatening virus. That causes the disease known as COVID-19, and then you could die. So, and even worse, it's not just you anymore. I try my best to not think about this from my point of view when it comes to this coronavirus COVID-19 thing, because I'm not at risk. I'm just not. Maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe there's some underlying stuff that I don't know about. But the thing is, it's not about me or people that are healthy. It's about what other people think going forward, right? Even if people aren't, it's not very easy to transmit or whatever. Just the idea of that happening, the idea of something so dangerous and so, just
insidious.
It is easy to transmit. I'm saying even if it wasn't, I think people would still be scared of touching people. And now it is easy to transmit. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't shaken somebody's hand in like months. We're sitting pretty far apart. Every time I go to, get, I don't really go to the grocery store.
Yeah, we were talking about that. You're saying, Jim, I refuse to go to the grocery store right now. Yeah.
I just think like, isn't that the opposite of like social distancing? You have people like in there wheezing and coughing and talking and sneezing. And I get all my groceries from this local market next to my house. I mean, it's not the greatest place to be buying meats and things. I've been eating like smoked stuff for a while because it's like an Armenian little market. But all I really need is, some bananas and blueberries and some chocolate and some eggs. I'm milk. I'm good. So anyway, I go to like a coffee shop, right? I try to support this coffee shop that is next to one of my client's house. I still do in-home training with my client. We both been tested for coronavirus, by the way. I'm negative for the virus and for the
antibody.
Yeah, antibody. Yeah. So I haven't gotten it apparently, and I don't have it currently, which is, who knows? The test might be flawed, but either way. Anyway, so my client, I go to my client and I go to this little coffee shop. Man, I'm telling you, people open the door for me, I'm scared to like touch the door, and I'm not really scared, but it's just like, it's the new normal.
It's in here.
Yeah, it's in here.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh God, and so if I'm feeling that, you can expect I'm pretty non-risk adverse. I take risks. So you can imagine somebody who is risk adverse. I mean, there's people who have, I don't know if this is true or not, but people online, other people saying they haven't left the house in like 40 days. Let's just keep it real. I've left the house pretty much every day. even if it's just to go for a walk.
Yeah.
You gotta leave the house, man.
The walks, yeah.
So,
and to that point, Ben,
yeah.
I really do feel for the people that are afflicted with, just in normal circumstances, any kind of social anxieties, germaphobes, they exist. And, these are real mental conditions. People that live alone.
Right.
It's got to be hard for a lot of people. And I really do feel for, folks like that.
Yeah. I don't, want to bring any political stuff into this because there's no point. But ultimately, you will find a lot of politics in this stuff. And I think, I don't even care to bring any of that up, but the survival of businesses and the survival of the economy as a whole, I think is important to talk about. I think, I don't even consider myself to be really an entrepreneur. I'm just a guy who started several businesses, and I worked pretty hard, put my life savings into my business, put pretty much every paycheck I had for years into the business. And I want to open, and I want to make money, and I want to help, develop jiu-jitsu. But going forward, is that the right thing to do? And is that going to be possible, based on the new guidelines? Right. So, the reason I said the thing I said about, political is because at the end of the day, I think everybody has a bias, and everybody is going to say the things that, are going to benefit themselves, So people who own businesses, right, like me, I generally want the economy to get started back again. I want to get to work. That's my purpose in life. And then there's people who maybe they don't own a business, but they live off somebody else, or they work for somebody. They may not want the same things I want, right? They want to make sure that nobody dies from the virus. Older people at risk, and there's nothing wrong with that thought. Okay, and I agree with that. And I think my bias and their bias needs to kind of talk to each other, because I have a business, and I want my business to survive this, right? And they don't want people to die from this who don't need to die. But there's a middle ground here, and that middle ground is things like unemployment being directly correlated with death. I think it's like for every 1% going up in unemployment, it's like 40,000 people die or something. This is a population study, I believe. Mm-hmm. There's increases in crime. When the unemployment goes up, when people don't make money, they get desperate. My boot camp, my one of my gyms, got we had a break-in, and they stole my air bikes. This was like Saturday, I think. This was last Saturday. They came in at like 3 a.m., busted the door, came in, stole the air bikes, and left. The police came. You know what they said? They said they have never, ever responded to a break-in at a gym.
Oh, wow.
So those people who think, we just need to save the people and the economy doesn't mean nothing. You think again. Okay,
everyone's got a voice. Everyone's got a consideration to be dealt with, and either direction, left, right, whatever.
You got to think about balance, and also about this is a complex subject. So anybody taking a vehement stand against another position, I think is almost certainly in the wrong, or not understanding nuance.
There you go. I think that's the key right there. Extremism has never really been the key to anything. Mm. But, the philosophical, mages of the past, the yin and yang of life, it's all represents balance. And I think even faith-based beliefs all go towards a balance of some sort. And that's where the truth lies. And it's like the old saying, there's his side, and then her side, and then the truth. Right. So, in the whole spirit of the discussion, there's a balance in the middle.
Right. And I don't want to dwell on that, because it's more of like a it's like it's a divisive thing, right?
Yeah,
I
right.
don't care. Most of the time, it doesn't matter to me. It's more about finding all the available evidence and then coming to my own conclusion. I think if everybody did that, then we wouldn't be so hardwired to pick a side and then die on that hill.
Right, right.
So anyway, that's more of like an abstract thought, right? So let's go back to the outlook of BJJ, right? Once this stay-at-home order lifts, right, it's not going to go back to, all right, let's just go back to normal. There's going to be phases, right? Based on other countries, there's phases. In fact, I don't own a business that is essential, but I know that if you're an essential business, there's like a checklist, right? So I suspect that as a non-essential business, as soon as they lift this stay-at-home order, this quarantine, you will now function. Your non-essential business will now have to go through the same guidelines as an essential business during the stay-at-home. Mm-hmm. So meaning that social distancing may be continued for another 2 or 3 months. Now, if that happens, it's going to be very bad for martial arts academies. In fact, I would say another 3 months of not being able to get people through the door, get signups, return to somewhat normalcy. I don't know if I can survive. I can survive for, I would say, another month and a half, based on the generosity of my students, based on the fact that I don't rely on my academy for income. I have a full-time job basically outside of my academy, and so what can we do, right? So I'm coming from a business owner standpoint, but as a jiu-jitsu student, there's nothing you can do. You sit and wait. That's it. See what happens. From a business owner standpoint, you need to be doing everything in your power to try to save your business, right? So I've applied for loans. I've applied for grants. Got denied for all the grants. I believe the Grappler's Guide sent me $40. Thank you to Grappler's Guide, because I guess they had some kind of a fund and I got $40. Yeah, I've got the initial $10,000 from the SBA loan, and I think I was lucky to get that. I don't know many academy owners that have even gotten that. I know one academy that got $2,000. I got 10. And that's just because my payroll is a lot. I have a lot of people on payroll.
Right.
I did not get the PPP loan. I've been denied, and so I have to reapply. What else?
Well, going back to the spirit,
Yeah.
or the topic,
Yeah.
is on the other side. What does this look like? Ben, let's say June 1st. I'm speculating.
Well, that's actually the date that I plan to reopen.
June 1st.
June 1st.
Okay, so let's speculate here. What does June 1st look like? What are some of the things that you anticipate the landscape looking like?
It's still a long time from now.
It does seem so long.
I would assume so. Gracie Baja has already kind of come out with their own like back to normal schedule. Not back to normal, like when you can open. Like, what do you do? And there was like a system of, first it starts with, your it's non-contact, then it's like minimal contact. And I actually thought it was not bad. It wasn't bad. And it's, people are shitting on it already because like maybe it's too soon or something. I don't know. But June 1st, to answer your question, I suspect June 1st that a lot of my classes are going to be very, very structured in a way that is going to minimize contact with too many people. That's really the only thing that I feel like I can control well. So, for example, I have kickboxing at my academy. I'm probably going to expand kickboxing because kickboxing is something you can do with social distancing. Another thing is, I suspect this to be normal going forward, probably for not forever, but for a while. When you come in to train at your academy, you probably won't be rolling with everybody in the room anymore. It'll probably be, okay, you drill, you come in, you pick a partner, you get 6 feet away from this person, the next group, you drill with that person, and you train with that person. And you train with that person the whole class. And after class, we're not bowing and shaking anymore. After class, we're standing apart, bowing, going home. You got to be very careful in the locker room, too. I'm not really sure how sparring is going to work. I think if you just keep it to the people that you're like say if it's me and you in class, right? And we drill the moves, we drill, do time specific training drills, and then we spar. That's it. And then we go home. That might be
Next round, reset, same partners,
same
go
partner.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things in the absence of testing and vaccines is you just have to limit your contact with people. I have 2 mat spaces. I'll probably maximize the use of both. Yeah, I mean that's really what I suspect on June 1st. And I mean, this could all be turned upside down in one day.
That's what, and that's what's been happening. And actually, rewinding a little bit in this podcast, you talked about how, the government, essential, non-essential, they're rolling this thing out in phases.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that.
I'm
a fan of phases.
Right.
But then let's say, okay, jiu-jitsu's on deck, jiu-jitsu's now up. But to have those sub-phases, I will just call it that, to where in Jiu-Jitsu Academy, we also have a set of phases, which is, okay, we're going to do, minimal contact drill, and then minimal training partners, sparring partners, whatever you want to call it, until we grow into a normal. I like that idea. Those are very good approaches, I believe.
I think if there was a possibility that some kind of test can get rolled out very quickly, where it's just a finger prick, or even better, some kind of test that doesn't require, I think even fingerprint, you have to go through at least a nurse practitioner or something. I don't know. I'm not sure, but
again, it comes down to some sort of testing.
If there was testing, then we can be a lot more liberal with this. So, like, say, every week we're testing, guys. It might cost the gym $500 to get that many. Whatever, I'll pay it if that means that everybody's going to be safe, right? That would make things a lot easier. Then we can probably be a little more liberal with our training. Just make sure we keep testing every week. If you get, if the problem there is if anybody has it, then you got to shut down the whole academy, right? So there's a 2-week period. It's going to be rough.
But you're armed with the idea of informed decision making, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Now, I would say that if you have any risk, if you're at risk, you're older person, you have, obesity, you have some diseases, it might be over for you, jiu-jitsu wise, for the time being, right? Like if I was 80 years old and I was training jiu-jitsu happily before this, that might be the end of jiu-jitsu for me until vaccines, which is, another 12 to
who knows
16 months.
Who knows?
So who knows, right? So anyway, that I think is, we're just guessing, but that's just what may happen. Now, this is something that I think most business owners already know. The survival of academies is that's going to be a problem. Sign-ups, right? I don't expect to sign anybody up throughout the whole summer, to be honest. If I sign anybody up, it's going to be, friends of current members or, people who just have no fear, I guess. Just come right in and do it. Or we have testing, right? So, what I'm doing personally is I'm trying to do year paid in full, so we can survive this likelihood of this drought is coming. And another one is, I'm negotiating with my landlord, getting months free, renegotiating my lease, things like that. Because like I just tell them the truth, it's just I don't expect to grow, so we're gonna lose members. We've already lost members, so the rent can't stay the same, right? Real estate has crashed.
Everyone's got to make concessions here.
Yeah, everybody does. So yeah, I would tell academy owners that if you have multiple academies, it might be time to think about letting one go. I've let one go. Me and my partner decided we've got to let one of them go. We've let one academy go. I know of 3 academies so far that have also shut down in this area, in the San Gabriel Valley area here in California. And I know a couple other academies that haven't closed, but they are dying a slow death. Like unless a miracle happens, they're going to close within the next 3 months. So, we talked about a lot of bad things. What can you do if you train jiu-jitsu, if you own an academy, if you have you're an employee in an academy, whatever? What can you do? All right. I think if you are a practitioner, you're a student of an academy, you need to do your best to support the academy, not by continuing to pay when you're not getting a service, but instead maybe just paying for the year in full, because you continue to pay, whatever, great. That's not going to save the academy. Okay, there's going to be. I actually think it's wrong right now for academy owners to make their students continue to pay unless they're offering something of equivalent value, which I've already kind of thought about in my head. I can't do it. I'm not an expert at online stuff. I was doing Facebook Live for a while, but I just did it for free. And I've paused all my memberships since April. So if you are an academy owner that can provide that value, or if you already have the infrastructure, great, and people are willing to pay, great, charge them. But I would say that most people should think about, instead of trying to support their academy through paying like 1 month membership, wait till the academy's back, pay for the full year, get a small discount maybe, pay for the full year. That way it's an infusion of cash that will help your academy a lot more. I already did the math. If I have 10 members do a year in full paid in full membership, I'm going to survive for the next 6 months, no problem. If I get 0, then I'm going to have to raise some money. But so that's it. What can you do as a student? You can do that. What can you do as an academy owner? You can either do your online classes, or you can just kind of set up a way to get a quick infusion of cash while maybe you're applying for loans and grants and things like that. And then as far as the future outlook of signups and how people are going to be interested in doing jiu-jitsu, I'm not sure about this. This is something that, man, I don't know, man. It just seems like for people to be okay with that, it's a little bit far-fetched right now. But again, this can all be fixed with vaccine or improved testing. Training with everyone probably isn't going to happen for a while. I think that's just impossible. Small group training is going to be where it's at now. So yeah, I think as far as I'm concerned, that the future outlook is uncertain. I don't want to put a negative spin on it, but I am a little worried. Any positives, Jim? Help me out.
No, you were doing fine. And going back to the whole idea of balance, I think that was actually a pretty balanced outlook on it. It's not all doom and gloom. I mean, the fact that there are some ideas that you get with small form grappling.
When you're done, I have a few more positives.
Okay. But I think just having a plan like that, ideas of small unit grappling,
yes,
small groups, that's great. And I think that takes into consideration people's concerns and the reality of today's landscape with what we know at the time. And until reliable testing is available for everyone, there's always going to be that little edge of concern. But the fact that you're not rolling up or unfurling the white flag here is like you're coming up with some ideas. You're going to be ready to go on our fantasy date of June 1st here.
Oh, as far as I'm concerned, it's June 1st. I actually hope it's May 15th, but
right,
it's looking less likely. By the way, I have all my memberships to rebill on June 1st, right? If the lockdown order comes before then we will, the brave will test it out. And we'll see.
Right.
We definitely
use the term brave right now.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have a lot of protocol in place.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait to get on the mat, man. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what are your shining spots? Yeah.
Okay. So this is not just martial arts or jiu-jitsu. This is fitness, health and fitness as a whole. I think after this, the main thing is people are gonna start taking health and fitness a lot more seriously, right? Who dies in this COVID-19.
Yeah, who's considered the high risk, right?
People that are unhealthy.
Yes.
Generally, it's the unhealthy, right? Previous condition, comorbidities, things like that, right? Age is a factor because not really the age itself, but as you get older, you tend to accumulate more and more problems. So that people are older, that just kind of, it's a correlation, right? So hopefully after this, a ton of people will want to exercise, right? Some sort of exercise. Everybody should be exercising. Exercise has a ton of benefits toward warding off disease. This is not an opinion. This is pretty much consensus, fact. Second thing. So, yeah, I already said this, but the people that are in good health will have a better outcome when they're exposed to the virus.
And we're talking about being active. We're talking about, questioning your diet, assessing your diet, and putting that into practice.
Yeah. Also, another positive is that people are going to start not just taking their physical health, but their hygiene is going to improve, right? If you didn't wash your hands before this, you should now, And I'm going to be honest, I'm not the greatest at immediately, after rolling, just immediately cleaning myself. Right now, I will be. I don't have a shower at my academy. Maybe it's time to get a shower now. It might cost me $30,000 to get a shower, but it's something that might be a necessity.
Yeah.
Right. So another positive is that, and this is actually something that's great for jiu-jitsu, is jiu-jitsu people generally have pretty good hygiene, because of we already are dealing with viruses and fungus. Ringworm is a fungus. Viruses, there's like mat herpes and things like that. We're already dealing with these things. So, that's a positive, right? That's like, jiu-jitsu academies are actually probably more advanced than some. I'd rather be on the mats a lot of times than be at, somebody's garage gym, which they haven't mopped that thing in 30 years. So we have kind of a leg up.
By doctrine, we're squared away in the jiu-jitsu community. By doctrine, things like this are essentially always a concern, or should be always a concern. But now we have this much greater entity to hold us to the standards that are already in place in the jiu-jitsu community.
Right.
So follow the rules.
Something that's a little more abstract is a positive to me, is that this is going to advance technology, right? Zoom classes. Who the fuck was doing Zoom classes? Now everybody's doing Zoom classes. Now I think most academies, if they're smart, they're going to have some kind of online component no matter what. It has to be already done. Because what if this happens again in November? You just spent all this time, but boom, COVID-20 hits. What you going to do now?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So a lot of fitness gyms adapted real quick, right? Because fitness is you can do on your own. Jiu-jitsu is very different. Who's the next person that's going to invent, the online way of jiu-jitsu, right? Do you remember how badly the jiu-jitsu community just shit on the online learning things?
Oh my god!
Oh, who's doing the online thing now? Who's shitting on the online things again? Go ahead, reveal yourself,
right?
Because now you have no other choice. You have to learn online, right? So maybe it unwinded some of that archaic thought. Right? It's like, oh, you can't possibly get a blue belt on the internet. What if I touch you and you die? What about then? Then can you get a blue belt on the internet? Well, let's make some guidelines then. See, now at least that dialogue is open, right? If you're shitting on online training right now, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. It's just you have to. There's no other way, right? What you gonna do? So yeah, that those are the positives. I'll reiterate them. People are going to start taking physical health a lot more seriously. People, not just jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, we actually have the leg up. Everybody is going to take hygiene a lot more seriously. Bathing, washing your hands, not, touching stuff and eating stuff. There's just a lot of those things. Viruses, and then third was, what was I say the third one was? the innovation, right? So technology, right? So advancing. It's times like this where if you look at all the startups in the last depression, 2008, it was 2008, 2012, one of them, but either, I think 2008, a bunch of companies were started, and they're now the leaders in their industry. Because why did that happen during the depression? It's because we had all this time. Probably we had all this
recession.
Yeah, we had the recession. Yeah. What did I say?
Depression.
Yeah, that's recession. Sorry, recession is what I meant. No, probably depression. Well, Great Depression was a recession, right?
It was a great recession.
Yeah,
it's the next stage down.
Yeah.
Next
stage
down.
So yeah, we had a recession. All of these innovations came out, right? Yeah. Who is going to innovate now? In not just in jiu-jitsu, but in everything, right? So online, academies need to think about another source of income, right? Maybe now jiu-jitsu academies are not just jiu-jitsu academies, but they're also online retailers, right? If you open up a jiu-jitsu academy, maybe you're a quarter of your jiu-jitsu academy is a warehouse for your online retail, because everybody, Lululemon is killing it right now. Have you seen Lululemon stock?
No.
Killing. Why? Made in America. It's just, everybody's at home in pajamas. Lululemon clothes can be pajamas and workout gear. So you're killing. So anyway, that's it. That's we didn't really plan for this episode. We just kind of dug right in, and these are just my thoughts off the top of my head. Anything else, Jim? So any other outlooks?
No. I like those points, and I agree with you lockstep on each one. People are going to have to get creative. We're going to have to. It's a new landscape shaping up right before our very eyes that no generation before us.
I don't want to sound like a Gary Vaynerchuk or like these like gurus that try to motivate people, but if right now you're not doing something online, you better start. If any time gives you a wake-up call to start doing something online, a channel, retail, just a profile, doing something.
Yeah, if you're struggling in these times and if you're looking for answers, looking online may be a viable option.
I think it's the only option, to be honest. There's like, what are you going to do? You going to get a job right now? Who's hiring?
Yeah, well, there's some people like in the construction fields and things like that. But
come on, Jim.
A whole different topic.
I couldn't even mount my whiteboard. You want me to do construction?
Right. Well, even to that point, whatever that skill is, some people, they can't type their name.
Yeah.
Without 3 tries on a keyboard.
What I would do right now? Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no. Just the point is it's time to start looking for innovation in your own lane, whatever your strength is, whatever your personality guides you towards. Look for opportunities, and online is a great opportunity for things like that, for sure.
Yeah. You don't have any income. You're on unemployment. You don't know what the next step is. Be somebody's social media manager. Right? This is the time. This is the time. Everybody needs social media. Every company needs especially now. Right? How are restaurants? I look at this all the time because I'm scared to go to the market, right? So I'm doing takeout like every other night. Some restaurants, I try to support all the restaurants near me. Some restaurants, their social media is so bad that they don't even have a menu. They don't even have like what they're doing in this time. They're open. It's just you got to roll in and order. You got to have a system, man. You got to have a system. Be somebody's social media manager. Help them out. This is the ways to innovate. So yeah, that's not really jiu-jitsu related, but these are times where you should try to innovate things, right? The last thing, because you can't train probably, doing your solo drills is great, but they all, can only take you so far. This is probably the time, at least if I'm speaking to my students, learn about jiu-jitsu, learn about the history of jiu-jitsu, learn about, competition scene, learn about, watch that instructional that you bought like 2 years ago that you never finished. This is the time. Read books, podcasts, audiobooks.
I like that one a lot. Those are good recommendations. I think it's been for me, this has been really good to talk to you about, your view on the future and what it looks like. Because I think all of us, to a certain degree, are kind of struggling and trying to look at the future, trying to picture the future. And then once you have a picture in your head, you could at least act towards something. So having this conversation for me was very helpful to have it with you, and maybe other people can benefit in a very similar way.
I hope that, in my smorgasbord of thoughts, somebody got some inspiration to do something, and that's kind of all it takes, right? It just takes that one inspiration and then the follow through. That's it.
There it is. Well, good take today, Ben. Patreon, you have a Patreon account. What does that tell the people about it?
Patreon.com/CoachBZ. Again, me and Jim, we don't have any sponsors. This is kind of just what we do to, just
stay connected
to the community, and we're hoping for some sponsors. But in the meantime, Patreon.com/CoachBZ. Make sure you follow Jim, Instagram, and myself at Jiu-Jitsu Mag, at Coach BZ. My YouTube channel is also floating around somewhere. You can look for it. And Jim, anything else?
No, social. Cover your mouths when you cough. If you're not wearing a mask, you should be wearing a mask. But anyways, no, be good to each other. Be good to yourself. And man, guys, thank you for the support in the community. The people that hit us up on the side, and our DMs. We appreciate you. And be safe. Be well. All right.
Shout out to Muscle Farm.
Muscle Farm.